So tonight I was looking up stuff on relationships in the Bible, like verses, things that kind of guides me on what kind of person I'm supposed to be and how to know what I'm looking for in a relationship. Because as we all know, I have a horrible track record with keeping a relationship. And I'm really not sure where that comes from. Like, I'm sure God's hand is in a lot of it. And he's been revealing a lot of stuff to me lately that I've been doing wrong and I've been looking for in a person that isn't right, even though it didn't seem not right. But the other day in one of my Facebook pages or groups, whatever they're called, they was talking about Matthew 7 and 6. And it didn't really seem like it had anything to do with my life. It didn't ring any bells at the time. But then I found on the website and it was talking about Matthew 7 and 7, which definitely didn't ring a bell to anything. But then right above it was Matthew 7 and 6, and I read that with Matthew 7 and 7, and it completely clicked as to what it was supposed to mean to me. There's always a reason, whether it's meant for you or someone you're around, but usually if you're praying for God to reveal things pop up, and you just really need to pay attention. But Matthew 7 and 6 says, "Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again to rend you." Rend in the dictionary means to tear something into two or more pieces, snapping teeth that would rend human flesh to shreds. Wrench something violently, cause great emotional pain to a person or their heart. And it's not funny, but I can't help but to laugh at it, because every relationship I've ever been in, whether it was intentional or not, because I've dated a lot of great people, but it's always ended up being emotionally draining and physically strenuous, I guess you could say. It's pretty much exhausting. I don't think I've ever had a relationship that didn't exhaust me or break me or something. And it's not that I don't think they can be great people for someone else. It's just I've always looked for certain things that aren't good for me. Because I'd be like, oh, well, they go to church every once in a while and they love God, but they get drunk every once in a while, and, it's not that big a deal. It's just sometimes. Or, yeah, well, they used to do drugs, but they don't do those anymore because they said so. And I believe them because I don't have a reason not to believe them till they give me a reason not to believe them. Or, yeah, I know they talk about their ex a lot, but they're over it. They're just a little bitter about it. It's no big deal. Little do you know, that's who they're going to next. But I'm not really even upset about any of that, more so than I am of how blind I am to relationships. And here in the last month, almost 2 months, it's been continuous of people trying to get me to go out with them. And that's usually what screws me up, is because I don't want to be alone. I love the family life. I love the idea of having a family, to eventually come home one day, cook supper, clean a house, have someone to snuggle up to. It's nice. Have someone to fight with, talk about hard things, talk about good things, go places with, so you don't have to do everything alone, which is always what's so appealing about having a relationship. But the problem is whenever you are at that point where those are the most important things, you're very blind to reality when it comes to the opposite sex, whether you're a guy or a girl, because guys desire those things too. They might act all tough and macho, but In reality, everybody wants someone to come home to. But the thing is to take off your emotional blinders and start paying attention. Start looking for the actual qualities. Quit making excuses for the things that you know shouldn't be happening. Therefore, quit taking the red flags out of the ground and running with them. But it's kind of funny that that verse came up again tonight, because even though I don't feel any of my exes are horrible people, so I'm not saying that, but I'm saying sometimes good people are bad for other people. Like, one of my best friends could be emotionally disturbing to you. Or just you don't get along and they don't care to hurt your feelings. Everybody has somebody that don't like them. I have a lot of people that don't like me. But it's the same in a relationship. Your relationship, you should be able to be a best friend with that person. And whenever you can't hardly tolerate to be around them, but you stay with them because it's somebody to come home to, then that's a problem. And another thing is whenever you're seeking God's will, because I'm very guilty of this, you can't pray God's will onto sin. You're sleeping with them, you're living with them, you're not married to them, but you're going to pray for God to bless your relationship? And I can only say this because I've been there. You're an idiot. God does not bless sin. I don't care what the world tries to tell you. Oh, well, how are you going to buy a cow if you don't know what the milk tastes like? You at least got to get a sample. You're stupid. You ain't ever going to own that cow if you're going to just keep getting free samples. And it's the way of the world. Like, you cannot get in a relationship without someone expecting sexual things, which makes life impossible when you're trying to not live outside of sin or live in sin, when you're trying to live outside of sin. So I just want you to think about that. Whenever you're having relationship issues constantly, then maybe you should try doing things the biblical way. You know, the thing that you say that you care about and you love and you believe in. Quit justifying your sins because it's socially acceptable. Just because it's socially acceptable doesn't make it right, and doesn't mean God's going to bless it. God doesn't see sin like that. Oh, well, it's New Age and everybody's doing it, so let's just change the Bible. No. That's not how it works. God's the same yesterday, today, and forever. It never says anything about him changing to fit our lifestyle. Our lifestyle sucks. That's why people are miserable. That's why people can't keep relationships. That's why their divorce is so easy, because it's socially acceptable. Oh, they're getting divorced. It happens. 7 years is usually the maximum anymore anyway. They'll find somebody new. Even when you're dating, you're always I personally am not like this, but it seems like a lot of people are always looking for the next best thing. Whatever happened to loving the person you're with and building each other up? Because whenever you are focusing on one person, you're not going to see anybody else better than them. You're going to have rough days, and it's going to suck. But whenever you actually commit yourself to that relationship, it's not going to be, oh, it's a rough day, but she's good looking, and she's nice to me, and da-da. Well, that's going to wear off too. And then you're going to be to the next one. And I can only say all this because I'm an idiot. I've been an idiot for a long time. And I've been there. So I just want you to think about that. If you're having a lot of relationship issues, maybe you're the issue. Especially if you're living in the world and having relationship issues, then I don't even know what to tell you. Because if you're not convicted by the Bible and by what God is putting on your heart, then I don't know why you're having problems. I can't help you. Sorry. But whenever you're trying to live your life by the Bible, you can't pick and choose what part of the Bible you're going to follow. That's not how it works. Nowhere in the Bible does it tell you, as long as you obey this many rules, you're golden. No, the Bible's pretty point blank. You can do this. You cannot do this. You should do this, which is optional. Or you should not do this, which is also optional. I don't believe that's going to send you to heaven or hell if the Bible doesn't tell you that you have to do it. Or that you're going to go to hell for it. But at the same time, it does tell you that whenever you do the right things and you do things that are outside of what you have to do, just because God lives in you, and when God lives in you, you're going to want to do extra. You're going to want to see the person struggling to pay their grocery bill or their electric bill taken care of. You're not going to be able to just walk past and be like, no big deal, ain't my house. Now, when it comes to drama, I'm definitely like that. Don't bring your drama to me because I don't want it. It's nasty. There's no reason for it. Half the time you're making it up anyway. No offense, but it's true. So just think about that. Whenever you're going through relationship issues and you're convicted by God, maybe you should listen to what God's telling you instead of deciding that it's not cool enough or you can't do it because nobody else is doing it. Well, guess what? There's other people out there thinking the same thing. But because nobody will do it or at least make it known that it's done, you're making it impossible for anybody else to lead a good life because nobody wants to be alone. And therefore, if you're the outcast, then what do? Just think about that. You're not the only person out there that wants to do it, but you need to be one of the people out there that stands up and does it. Have a blessed night.